Ukraine is launching a coordinated campaign across Russia's military-industrial heartland to cripple the Kremlin's ability to wage high-tech war. With a devastating cyber attack on the Tupolev Design Bureau and precision strikes on microelectronics plants, Ukraine is not just targeting weapons. It is forcing Russia's production capabilities back to the Stone Age, Euromaidan Press media outlet says. The Ukrainian Operation Spiderweb inflicted significant losses on Russia, with 25 strategic aircraft confirmed damaged or destroyed. Notably, Russian authorities are already trying to hide the extent of the damage by swapping out destroyed bombers for intact ones taken from airfields not hit by the strikes. To complement the severe blow against the Russian strategic bomber aviation, the Ukrainian Military Intelligence conducted an extensive cyber attack on the Tupolev Design Bureau, which designs and produces all Russian strategic bombers. Ukrainian intelligence gained access to more than 4 gigabytes of sensitive data. The leaked files include internal correspondence between company executives, personal data of employees, home addresses, biographies of engineers and designers, procurement documents, and classified disclosures from closed-door meetings, Euromaidan Press reports. The breach provides Ukrainians with comprehensive insight into operations and personnel involved in maintaining Russia's strategic aviation fleet. This information could be used for the sabotage of the plant through low-ranking aviation engineers who can be recruited into Ukrainian information networks, with humans always being the weakest link in such large-scale organizations. Additionally, to cement the inability of Russians to rebuild their strategic bomber fleet, the Ukrainians decided to strike factories that produced other high-tech components necessary for the Russian war effort. These factories produce various microchips and technology essential in the production of Russian bombers, tanks, missiles, guidance systems, vision sights, and radars. Euromaidan Press says the Ukrainians most recently struck the avant-garde microchip and radio electronics factory in St. Petersburg. While Russian media initially claimed that all Ukrainian drones were intercepted, Russian emergency services confirmed a major fire in the section of the plant responsible for microchip production and assembly. Thick black smoke was seen rising from the facility, with the blaze covering around 100 square meters. Before that, Ukrainian drones targeted the Volkhov semiconductor device plant, scoring multiple direct hits on the main building. The explosions triggered extensive fires that spread across the facility, causing significant damage and putting the factory out of commission. Earlier, the Strela microelectronics plant in the town of Suzemka, Bryansk region, was struck. Located just 8 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, it was within range of HIMARS strikes, which caused the most extensive damage of all the targeted Russian military-industrial plants. Satellite imagery later confirmed that nearly the entire facility was destroyed, leaving no operational production capacity. Finally, the Ukrainians hit the Kremlin microelectronics plant in the city of Bryansk, delivering multiple strikes that ignited a large fire throughout the site. This was the 5th attack on the plant since the start of the war, but the latest damage appears to be the most devastating yet. Euromaidan Press says the Ukrainian strikes had a major impact, targeting key sites in Russia's military-industrial complex. Back in the fall of 2022, there was information that the Russian government was discussing a backup scenario for moving decision-making centers from the capital to another city. This was reported by the Telegram channel of the Russian Federation, Kremlin Snuff Box, citing sources in the government. There were 3 cities among the candidates: Yaroslavl, Yekaterinburg, and Kazan. The channel's interlocutors said that the government has finally decided to move the capital. They want to start with individual political institutions and departments. In connection with the latest attacks by the enemy, discussions about the transfer of individual organs have really intensified. But no one in their right mind would trade Moscow for Novosibirsk or Kazan, says a government source. Kiev has stepped up its long-range drone campaign against Russia in recent months, particularly targeting Moscow and key military infrastructure. Though most drones are intercepted before reaching the capital, the threat has caused repeated disruptions to civilian air travel. Since January the 1st, Ukrainian drone raids have prompted more than 225 temporary airport closures across Russia. Recall, Russia's main card is its vastness of military resources, frontline manpower, tolerance for pain, and financial reserves. But repeatedly, Kyiv has shown targeted pinpricks can burst these bubbles. In late 2022, the Ukrainians struck supply lines across occupied northern parts of Ukraine, causing a swift and embarrassing collapse of Russian positions. In 2023, they hit the Kerch Strait Bridge, linking Russia to occupied Crimea. And last year, they invaded Kursk, Russia proper, exposing the vulnerability of the Russian war machine's borders. On each occasion, the narrative of the war swung back in Ukraine's favor. It also brings to the forefront one of the key lessons of this war: the capacity for advances in technology, solid intelligence, and bold execution to reverse military trajectories many observers felt were settled. Ukraine's first use of attack drones in 2023 has evolved to a wide-scale tactic, enabling it to survive the onslaught of overwhelming Russian infantry attacks across wide, imperiled front lines. It has sent sea drones to hit Russia's prized Black Sea Fleet. Russia's lumbering bulk of a military machine projects invulnerability and fearlessness towards the longest of wars as a tactic. It uses the idea of time being on its side as a key asset. But strikes, like the weekends, show its hardware is vulnerable, limited, and probably not easy to replace.